Hey everyone, it's Laura and welcome to Book Bubbler. Today is Vlogmas Day 9 and I have a tag for you today. It's the Dilemmas of a Book Nerd tag. I first saw this over at Elizabeth Ann Reads. I will link her video and the original creator of the tag, of who the channel name escapes me completely. I'm sorry, but I will link it below. This was from, I think, June that she did this, so that gives you some idea of how far behind I am on tags. Okay, dilemma number 1, book storage. How do you store and organize your books? Well, I was thinking initially, it's on shelves and in bins in the basement, which is true, but I also have a lot of stuff that is just scattered everywhere. The the guest bed next to me, which is a full-size bed, is probably a half to 2/3 full of book stacks between, 3 and 15 books high. I've got stacks all over the dining room and living room and everything. Everything here is double stacked. So it's semi-organized. It's organized mostly by author's last name. I tend to do genres together. I don't really separate them out by genre. That's not entirely true, I'm realizing too. So I have books that are for work, like about massage therapy, energy work, healing, things like that. Those are all in a bookcase that my dad made. I have some at my office as well, but I've got most of them here. I do have some, all my poetry is grouped together on 2 shelves. Over here in the corner, which I don't think you guys have ever seen those 2 bookshelves. One is Jane Austen and the Bronte sisters, and the other one is various collections and genres. So I've got my British Crime Classics series, my New York Review of Books series, my Slightly Foxed editions, travel literature grouped roughly by country or continent. I've got books about books. I've got my Little House books. I have children's books and middle grade stuff from my childhood primarily. So I've got those over there. And some books I have, like those Pan Macmillan, those small blue and gold editions, of lovely small, like hand-size editions. I've got those together. So I've got some smaller things together too, but in general, it's by author last name, either on the shelves here or in the living room or in boxes with author last name on them in the basement. And when I say boxes, I mean plastic tubs to protect them. Okay, number 2 is tracking. How do you keep track of what you've read and what books you own? That would be a library thing. I do all my tracking. If I get a new book, I don't list it anywhere else. I don't talk about it here in a Friday Reads. I don't do anything else until I get it listed in Library Thing in my library as to be read. And I go by the ISBN number. So for every single book that I own, I type in the ISBN at the back and I add tags to it. Sometimes it's where I got it from, if it was a gift, if it was for like a birthday or holiday or whatever, like if it's part of a series, a number in the series, that kind of thing. So that's primarily how I keep track of things that I own and don't own. And then I also, of course, rate them, read and unread. I don't really review anything anywhere online publicly except for here. I don't do Goodreads. I just do a number or star rating, excuse me, on Library Thing and Goodreads. What I like about Library Thing, there are many things, but they do half stars. And I'm a big half-star user, which I didn't realize until I started using Goodreads, 10 years ago or something, and I know they'll never adopt it, but everyone wants it, but they don't really care. Anyway, side rant. So it's through Library Thing, and then I also, on my shelves, I do keep them mostly, again, in read and unread. So almost everything on this floor is unread. The parts that I have 1 shelf that is strictly read, and that's all of my favorite books and some editions I collect and things. That's in my bedroom. Otherwise, I think I have a few on, let's see. No, yeah. I have a few travel books that I have read that are on the shelf over there, and a couple of little house books. And then, you know, my picture books and middle grade. Some of the stuff that's up here is read, but I remember what I have and haven't read. So it's, yeah, it's a lot to keep track of. Okay, number 3, borrow. Do you lend your books out? No. There are very few exceptions. I have to know and trust the person, and know that they're not going to just destroy my book. So now that I'm doing this tag, this seems familiar. Have I done this before? I may have. You know, I don't care. I'm doing it again. It's been a while since I did it anyways. Anyways, so lend your books out. Not really. I either have to not care about that edition. I do have a couple of books where I just have strictly lending copies. And whenever they come back to me, they come back to me. If they never come back, that's fine. But like I will lend books to Danny at Spinelli Speaks. I lend books to her because I trust her. I know she won't beat them to crap. And I've lent books to 2 of my clients before because, again, I trust them with my books. And they've returned them like, you know, just like how I left them. Off the top of my head, that's all I can think of. I have lent books to other friends before and I've never seen them again. There was a time I lent a book to a client who I should have known better because he was a messy person, but he returned the book absolutely trashed, like waterlogged, mystery stains, bent cover, all this crap. And it was a used copy when I purchased it, but it was in like new condition. And I lent it to him and it came back like I threw it in the garbage. I didn't even recycle it. I was like, no, no. So yeah, I'm much more careful after that incident. Number 4, buying. How do you acquire books? I'm very lucky in that a lot of my friends and my parents, well, my mom now, gets me books for any excuse, any reason, or gift cards, mostly, but it's mostly books. And I'm thrilled by that. Otherwise, I buy a lot of them myself. I do buy from Amazon. Please don't hate me. Money is a factor, and it's very easy if I'm looking for a certain edition or whatever to go over there and get it that way. I shop used bookstores, mostly half-price books, and if I get the chance, I shop at Downtown Books in downtown Milwaukee, but that's every couple of years. I only really get down there. I shop used online, not so much thrift books because I hate their stickers so much, but Better World Books I shop at, Book Outlet. Yeah, I also get a lot of books from Paperback Swap, which I know it's not free, but for me, it's essentially free. You can have a free membership to Paperback Swap. You have to have books in good, very good, like new condition only. You mail out a book, you pay for it yourself, and then in exchange you get a credit. And then you can use that credit to request a book from anyone. You can make wish lists. You can accept or reject anything when it comes up off of your wish list. I really like Paperback Swap, and I use that pretty often. So yeah, it's probably mostly Paperback Swap and Amazon, to be quite honest. Please don't hate me. I do shop at indie bookstores, I do, but again, money is a factor, and there is not one close to me that I pass. I have to make a specific trip over there to go to it, and I just don't run around like I used to at all. So anyways, okay, number 5, comments. How do you respond to "how do you read so much" or similar comments? I usually jokingly say, "I don't have a life," and laugh, and they laugh too, and that's enough to satisfy most people. But if they're like, "No, I'm serious," I'm just honest and say I tend to read more than not. I read quicker than probably an average person. I'm not sure about that, but I've been told I read quickly. I don't discriminate on genre or age range or anything of books, unless it's something I know I don't want to read, but otherwise that doesn't matter to me. Books and reading have been my main hobby, my main interest for my whole life. So this has been a slow acquisition of books my whole life. I mean, it's this and then DVDs, like movies, and music. Those are the, like, it's entertainment. Those are the 3 things that I've always spent my money on my whole life. That hasn't changed. So I have so many things to choose from and so many things I hear about from all over the place, which is a question coming up. I'm never short of anything to read. I'm short of time to read, and I'm short of focus to read. But I just really enjoy reading. That's the thing that I want to do the most. So that's my time. I've never gone out and partied. I've always been a homebody. Like fancy restaurants and expensive meals, that is so uninteresting to me. I go to 1 or 2 concerts a year maximum. So that's not something I do. I mean, I don't have kids, so I'm not running around. I'm not in a relationship with anyone, so I'm not spending dinners out doing stuff, going to like sports games with him or like whatever. It's just me at home with my books all the time, and I love it. So that's how I read so much. Okay, number 6, next book. How do you pick your next read? Generally speaking now, since BookTube, it's for a readathon I'm doing or a buddy read I'm doing or for a themed read for the month that I decide to join in. Less and less, especially in the fall with Victober and Nonfiction November. I feel like it's all scheduled reading, and I don't like that. It's making me feel kind of itchy that I can't read what I really want to read. Like, I'm such a mood reader. So if I really feel like reading, say, The Warmth of Other Suns, I feel like I can't read that because I said I was going to read other books, and there's other things that are more of a priority on my list, and this one is not. But I want to read this one, but I have other stuff, but it's that kind of a thing. So lately it's been a lot of I'm supposed to read this / I want to read this with someone or for a specific purpose, and less read whatever I want. So not the greatest. I'm trying to work on that. And I know in January, I feel like the year resets for sure. So I'm hoping to feel like I'm getting sucked into more scheduled things and I can give myself more time to be serendipitous with my book choices. Okay, number 7, travel. How do you pick what books to take on vacation with you? I don't take vacations. If you work for yourself, you have to voluntarily not get paid then. And I've worked for myself for over a decade. I don't have the money for it. I don't know where I would go. I would just rent a cabin somewhere, probably in the north of the state, and do what I would do here, only up there. That would be read, sit outside, maybe take a walk, get takeout, like, I don't know. So the last kind of vacation I took was with my friend Angie. Hi, Ange. Not Ange with an E, my like in-person friend, Angie. You get me. Her family, her in-laws have a cabin in the very north of Wisconsin. I think it's like a 5.5-hour drive from my house to the north of Wisconsin. So we went up there. This was about 2 months before my dad got sick and unexpectedly passed away. So for this long weekend, it was just the 2 of us. I think it was 3 nights we were up there. I brought 36 books with me. Angie, correct me if I'm wrong. I think it was 36 books. And then I also had my Kindle with me. And like half of my luggage was books. And she was like, what is wrong with you? Like, why do you have so many books? We're only here for a few days. And I was like, well, I might feel like reading this one or this one. And I was like, well, you get it. She's like, no, explain to me why you brought these books. So I remember going through all of them with her, and she was just kind of like smiling and shaking her head going, oh my God, you're crazy. I think I only ended up reading like 10 or 11 or something. I mean, I could have only brought, but it didn't matter. Like, I wanted to have lots of options, and some of them I was looking for an excuse to start reading, and so I was hoping that the time away undistracted would be that, and so that's how I pack for traveling. Generally speaking, it's primarily books, and then of course like triple the amount of underwear I think I'll need. I don't know why I think I'm gonna like crap my pants all the time when I'm traveling, but I do. So I pack like tons of clean underwear, lots of extra socks, like a normal amount of shirts and pants, and like maybe a sweatshirt or something. I very rarely get cold, so like it's mostly books. So yeah, I way overpack there. Okay, number 8. I have no idea what I said. Oh, annotate. I can read my handwriting. Okay, do you write or highlight in books? No. I tried in college and I got into it for a little bit, but generally speaking, I don't. I feel more okay doing it with advanced readers copies since they're essentially worthless, but even then I usually can't make myself do it, so pretty much no. Okay, number 9. New or backlist, which do you prefer? I think you guys can guess. It's backlist all the way. Most new fiction and I do not get along. I don't find it interesting. I don't care to know about half of this stuff. I just don't like it. I like obscure, weird little books. So it's backlist all the way for me, for sure. And number 10, sequels. Do you read them as released, or do you wait until they're all released and then you start with book number 1? And generally speaking, I read them as they're released. It just all depends on when I find out about the series and where it is in its publication life. As an example, so The Dresden Files by Jim Butcher. I'd heard about them for years, but I didn't really get interested and intrigued by them enough to look into the books until maybe 10 years ago. And that was when it was, there were 10 or 11 or 12 books out at that point. I read the first book, really, really enjoyed it. And then they're hard to find used, and I don't want to buy them new. I don't know why. I don't. So I just look for them used places. So I think I have like number 7 and number 3, maybe number 13 at this point. He's still publishing, I don't think as regularly as he used to, but I just read the first one and that was fine. And then I'm looking for the other ones slowly. If there's a quartet being released, I generally wait until they're all released. If it's a trilogy, I wait ahead of time to see how it's going to be, mostly speaking. Again, these are all general rules. There are always exceptions to every rule, but I just don't, sorry, itchy. I just don't, I don't know. I will say that there's one series that I get usually as soon as they're published, and then I wait to read them, and that is the Louise Penny Inspector Gamache series. I have to have at least 1 or 2 on hand at all times. I think I am 4 or 5 behind now. And that's one, like I've said before, I wait until I am in the right mood for them, when I can devote myself completely to being obsessed with them, because that's what I get, is obsessed with reading these books. So I wait until I have a couple, because sometimes now they are cliffhangers. And if I had to wait a year or a year and a half to see what happened, I think I would lose my mind. I feel that way, I'm so sorry, I feel that way about the Ellie Griffiths Ruth Galloway series too. I think I started that when there were 5 or 6 books out, maybe 4, I don't remember exactly. And the 12th or 13th was just published this last summer. So now I hate when I have to wait, and it's always a little cliffhanger that irritates me, and it comes up and I think about it a lot in my little brain. So yeah, I try to read them close together if I can, but it just depends on when I find out about them, really. So that's the tag. I'm not going to tag anyone because this, again, went around over the summer, and if you want to do it, please do it. I think it's a very interesting tag to listen to. I remember watching a whole bunch of people do this, and everyone's answers were so interesting, and I understood why they do that. Like, oh yeah, I do that too, and I do that too, even when they're opposite answers to the same question. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you're all doing well and staying safe, and I will see you guys very shortly tomorrow with the next video. Bye.